just like the only loss I had. One loss. You know what it was? Jordan Klein's Bonobo Clown Show. Just Blue Demons. I love that team, and they piss me off so much. Ugh. God, it drives me nuts. Anyway, start the show.
Let's do it.
Oh, well, we're live. There you go. Shout out to
I laddered Travis Kelce to 100, and he got to exactly 100 on the last play before the touchdown in overtime. It was a beautiful feeling. Plus 450 over on Bet365, dude.
I caught the end of the game. I'll have thoughts on that. We'll be talking about that game in just a second.
You know what else I did this week coming into Sunday, week 10? I manufactured a 5-point teaser to get the Eagles down to 2.5, the Chargers down to 2.5, and the Giants on the money line.
A 5-point teaser?
Yeah, I manufactured it with alt spreads.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of shady.
It is, but it's fun.
Yeah, it is damn fun. I'll give you that.
You know what I mean? Like
I followed in your footsteps. I hit a round robin parlay. Anytime touchdown scores, hell yeah.
I know, dude. And I couldn't believe you got the who was it? What?
Waddle had zero business scoring. He literally was so lucky.
Crazy. No, but I mean, well, FanDuel, there's actually a slider that you can tease down to whatever you want. Like
they have pleasers on FanDuel too. I don't know if you know that.
Do they? FanDuel has a lot.
FanDuel has crazy things, but yeah, they have pleasers.
But that's going to be fun. Eagles down to 2.5 against the Cowboys without Dak, right? Chargers against the Titans in LA.
Oh, you did that this week.
I'm doing it coming into this.
Got it. I thought you did it.
No. I mean, tell me that's not fun. And then the Giants against Carolina on the, they're 5-point favorites. So if you wanted to get like the full 3-team 5-point teaser, you just throw the money line in there. Gonna be fun.
Can be fun.
You should
not a game. I might.
I got it to plus 160. It's not bad. Not bad. Gonna be fun. Anyway, hey, good morning. Welcome to the Stokastic.com NFL First Look Strategy Show. I was sitting there this morning, like working on my betting video, the picks for every game on the Odd Shopper channel. Did the run. I always do this run sheet the night before, like I'm watching Monday Night Football. So it's like, screw it. I'll start looking at next week's slate. And it came to me, Ben. I just love football. Like I know you have a bunch of other sports you do, and so do I, but I just love football. Like it's so fun. And every week, it's just the level of parity every week, just totally different matchups. I know in like basketball and baseball, sure, it's different matchups and everything, but the waiting a week, prepping for it, all to get your dick stomped by Sunday, but it's fun. Actually, I didn't tell you, I somehow had a profitable week.
That makes one of us.
With Chris Olave as my highest owned player and Drake London as my 4th highest owned player. Don't ask me how. Maybe it was my heavy stand on Devon Achane, and the fact that I had 80% Chase Brown. So like, I just had the workings and a lot of Geno of a decent lineup, but I thought I was dead.
Yeah. So I had a really good betting week. My DFS week was a non-starter because I also was really high on Olave, but the killer for me, I weaseled out a few teams and they just happened to have AJ Brown.
That was another shitty one because
that was just a killer.
They dropped 20, like they scored plenty of points.
It was there. It was there for the taking in the sense of the Eagles did everything. Before we get to Goblin of the week, can I just ask you, can you give me a yay or nay on the Saquon move?
What do you mean?
He like hurdled the guy backwards.
It was awesome.
Okay.
I mean, you might be hitting it with a nay because he didn't pick up a lot of yards after that. Like if he did that and picked up 20 more yards, you'd probably feel differently. But that was an insane high. It's not just that he did the reverse hurdle and like, all right, yeah, probably. This is probably one of those spots where homerism plays a role for me. Never from a betting standpoint, never from a DFS standpoint. You guys should know that by now. But when cool things happen and I'm going, that was awesome. The reverse hurdle, but also spins midair with the 180 to land back forward facing and pick up a few additional yards. As cool as that was, though, like that was the 3rd best play by the Eagles.
Smith.
Yeah. So number 3 was Barkley. Number 2 was Jahan Dotson. That catch was incredible down the sideline. And number 1, dude, that catch by Devonta Smith, it's that and Garrett Wilson this season. Like those are the 1 and the 2s. Garrett Wilson, number 1. Number 2 is Devonta Smith. So yeah, Barkley was great, but wasn't the best play in that game.
Yeah, man. I mean, and listen, I'm not a nay on the hurdle. I thought it was incredible. I was a little stunned at the reaction of like greatest play I've ever seen. But yeah, I mean, Saquon's a freak. I was just interested to see what you thought of it. If he would have broke it for a touchdown, I definitely would feel differently.
That's what I mean. If he broke that for a touchdown, that's up there with the Marshawn Lynch run.
Yeah, even though that was actually important. But yes.
Sure.
Like Jerome Simpson. You remember Jerome Simpson?
Yeah.
He flipped into the end zone once. He literally did a backflip.
Yeah.
Into the end zone. Like,
yeah,
that's impressive. But
yeah. Actually, Jason Peters caught Ryan Matthews after he did a flip once into the end zone. I still remember that. But anyway, no, look, it was awesome. Coach Sav said Saquon reverse hurdle is one of the greatest human efforts we've ever seen.
Like human efforts, now we're just not even football, just like splitting the atom, hurdling a guy backwards, like curing polio. I don't know. I'm not on that level.
It was a really sick play.
It was awesome, and I like Saquon. So
but the Devonta Smith touchdown was insane. Like that was straight one hand. I don't know.
Anyway, let's go. Goblins.
Bug Boy. Oh, weak knees Dave on the mic. Hey, good morning, Bug Boy. You wouldn't know if your knees are weak. You probably haven't stood up in months.
Are you talking to me?
The Bug Boy. You too, probably.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's more applicable than not, but I don't know why you're saying it, but yeah. Actually, I hurt my knee yesterday. So there you go. I thought of you.
How?
I just happened to be, I don't know. I was walking up steps and I just like took a little misstep and I said, ow, that hurts. And now I've continued living my life. Haven't thought about it since.
Yeah, that's like, that doesn't count, man. That's one where you just keep it to yourself.
Well, I just announced it. So
anyway.
Good. Very good.
Mellow Bello, then we'll start with this. I lost a 6-leg parlay for over 8K on Jalen Coker, 36.5 receiving yards. He had 36 with I know, dude. I saw he had two 18-yard receptions on the same drive. I was over 36.5 too. He had 36, Ben. He had 36 for 40 minutes and finished with 36. Anyway, they're a very unserious team. The only team more unserious than them is the Saints, who just fired Dennis Allen following that disastrous loss to the Carolina Panthers.
Remember when the Saints were 2-0? I wish I had some of those archives from Chad. Some real bad takes that didn't age well with the Saints.
Yeah.
That's bad, Mellow Bello. I hear that. Oof.
Look, wait, who's Goblin of the Week then?
Did you give yours?
No.
Oh, do you want to go first or second?
You go first.
I'll get mine out of the way. It's pretty simple. Tampa Bay should have went for 2 last night. That was a stupid decision. Not only are you playing a team that obviously has something to define the laws of physics with the coin toss, but you're on the road in nasty weather as 9-point underdogs. You go for 2. You just simply go for 2. That's why you do that. When you're the worst team, it's very simple. You want to up the variance. If you ask Tampa before the game, would you rather A, play the game, or B, just get a 2-point conversion to win or lose, basically? 100% of the time, they should say, I would rather take a pseudo flip to beat the Chiefs on the road in Arrowhead. You have that situation and you pass on it, and then you get punished. That's just a stupid decision.
When will teams learn?
I don't understand how they don't know.
If you go to overtime with the Kansas City Chiefs, if you give the Kansas City Chiefs the ball back with enough time, they will beat you. Like I like Todd Bowles, by the way. Like
I did have money on Tampa. That is true, but that's irrelevant.
Well, what do you mean? You won if you bet Tampa?
No, I had some Tampa money line and some.
Oh, you sprinkled the money line.
Yeah, I had a live boost, very small, nothing significant.
No,
But
no, no, no.
that's
They should have
irrelevant.
gone, but it doesn't matter. It is irrelevant. You
Yeah.
have to go for two there.
Yes.
You're
Yes.
not like you're not winning that. The moment they tied that up, every single part of me goes, okay, it's over. Like, cool, you tied. By the way, Baker Mayfield's awesome, man.
I don't like Baker Mayfield, but he had a career resurgence.
Like, even if you don't like, it doesn't matter what he's doing with nothing. Baker Mayfield's legitimately a good quarterback now. Like, it's no longer let's wait and see. He is objectively a good quarterback.
I mean, he was the number one pick. Don't forget.
No, I know, but
No,
it's
and I'm saying it aged poorly, but not nearly as. It looked like it was like a possibly historically bad first pick.
yeah, you're
Not
right.
really.
No, you're right. I mean, it turned well, it's a bad first pick for the Browns.
Yeah, but he turned out to be pretty solid. Now he's not Josh Allen, but you know,
I mean, are the Browns just the goblin of the decade,
I
honestly?
mean, they're irrelevant.
Or
They
the
don't even
century?
they're just too irrelevant to even care about.
Like Baker's gone, you get Deshaun Watson, total train wreck. And you have to worry, you have to wonder, like, all right, what's going on with Kevin Stefanski? All right, you want my goblin of the week?
Yeah, please.
It's the entire Chicago Bears team and coaching staff and an inability to get a functioning offensive line.
That guy has literally no chance to survive.
Yeah. I
He's gonna
mean,
get fired.
it's uh it's crazy. It's Derek Carr could be it, fine. But the fact that like they have now scored what 12 and 9 points or something in back-to-back games. They had the mishap. They had the mishap against the Washington Commanders on the Hail Mary, just left and right, man. It's absolutely insane how this team with the pieces that they have, because they have a lot of pieces, just continually finds ways to, take two steps back after taking one step forward. I will say though, out of the Goblin of the Week category is the New York Jets. Happy to see that you and I got right on them, betting them on Thursday. That made me happy. Let's talk a
Yeah, the
little bit
Bears
of
are done.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, you
not.
see the DJ Moore play. The Bears are done. Like,
What, him like legit just walking off the
yeah,
field?
they're done.
Nah, it's bad. It's bad. All right. You know what? I'm gonna scrap the review because I want to make
Yeah,
sure we
let's
have
get
enough
into the
time.
slate.
Yeah, have enough time. Next week we'll do it. We'll take a look. But yeah, we'll take a look next week. All right. Scranton Goblin of the Week, honorable mention, Jameis Winston and his 3 interceptions. That's just par for the course, though. I mean, that's that's what Jameis does, man. Like you know.
Yeah, they're like, oh, that was actually hilarious because they're like, he threw his 100th career interception. And then he finished with like, I think he's up to 103 now. 100, like he just racks them up. It, I don't know. It was, poor Bryce Young too. Bryce Young had a pick in that game. That was a beautiful pass. It's the whole league is a goblin in some ways, but you got to go
Yeah.
for two. You got to go for two.
Jatavian Sanders, though, another decent game, like 4 for 82.
Yeah, that guy's good.
He's good. Yeah. All right, let's make it happen. I'm excited about this. 10 games. We're right back in the 10 game spot.
This is a sweet spot. Love 10 games.
Me too. Love it. I want to throw the injuries out there just so we're all on the same page. By the way, happy to have you guys with us. If you don't mind, take a single second, tap that thumbs up, atone for your sins this morning. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment down below. We read and respond to all of those. And Ben, it's totally free. Totally free.
Totally free.
All right. Well, let's make it happen. The injuries on this slate. Dak Prescott, he's going on the IR. They're saying he's going. I don't know if you saw that, but he's expected to land on the IR.
That doesn't seem good.
No, it doesn't. McCaffrey's expected to return. Brian Robinson, I don't know what's up with him. Like, because he tweeted, "I'll be back stronger" or something. That sounds like a guy who just got hit by a bus, not a guy who tested his hammy out in warmups.
I mean, the good thing for Washington is they don't have to rush him back.
Right. Right. I like Pittsburgh this week, by the way. If you're
I
not on
mean,
Pittsburgh with me this week, I will be appalled
I'm
for
sure
how
I will
much
be.
shit
I've
you
been
talk
shorting
on
Washington
Washington.
all year.
I'm betting the money line though. I don't want him at 2.5. Just give me the Steelers money line.
Mm,
Tomlin as a dog against a hyped team always performs well.
you see Khalil Herbert got traded?
Yeah, I did to the Bengals. So what does that mean for Zach Moss?
I don't know. Just
Yeah.
uh quarterback though. I mean, other than Dak, like is
Oh,
Caleb Williams actually
Moss
hurt?
is done for the season. My fault. I wasn't sure if that was
Oh,
confirmed. So that makes sense.
that does make sense.
Real quick though, Tajay Spears, that's a big one to pay attention to. Because Pollard's getting insane work, even though he doesn't practice all week. Jamal Williams in New Orleans, now that Kendre Miller is on the IR, guy's made of paper. Here's the big ones. AJ Brown, knee injury. Debo Samuel. Drake London day to day with a hip pointer. Chris Olave, I highly doubt he plays. I mean, the guy was hospitalized. Amari Cooper, Keon Coleman, both with wrist injuries. Gabe Davis and Juju Smith-Schuster, and then a tight end, Dallas Goedert. We'll get into quarterbacks right now, but I got to ask you, how pivotal are these wide receiver injuries going to be?
Oh, I mean, absolutely pivotal, no doubt about it. Just being completely honest, I don't really care because it's Tuesday and I don't like to spend resources when I'll get my answers in a few days. You know what I mean? You play the what if game a little.
For sure, but I do think we can make some educated guesses on guys like Olave.
That's what I mean. Oh yeah, absolutely. I think you make the way I operate is I make stronger takes early in the week because I have the luxury to pivot. I don't say like, well, he might
100%.
be. I'll just be like, I think he's out, and I'm operating like that, and I'll go back if I have to.
We're not taking like hard and fast stances on guys right now. Yeah,
Exactly. There's no
absolutely.
reason to.
But then when I ask you at quarterback or wide receiver, hey, are you willing to pay 7,800 for Devonta Smith with AJ Brown potentially out? That'll be a fun thing to talk about for sure. Because his
Yeah, and
price,
that's where you have to operate with he's in or out. You can't say like, well, if he's in, it changes it. If he's out, it changes it.
all right. So quarterback position. By the way, appreciate you guys spending your morning with us. Um, yeah, and Jake, that was weird, right? Where it says Moss is out for at least the year.
At least the year.
Yeah,
That's
like what is that? Does that mean that
career
the guy
ender.
might never play again?
Used to get that in old, like I haven't played Madden in 20 years, but every so often in like Madden 2000, a guy he'd just be out of the game, just career ending injury. Um, I'm sure he'll be fine.
All right. So let's do it. At quarterback at the top, there are two guys that just to me far out just now there's only three guys in the 7K range. But Jaden Daniels for me is the clear number 3. I don't know where you're at on that, but Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen look really good this week.
Josh Allen, you could put it in Sharpie, is the quarterback I want up top. He's quietly just doing his thing every week. Now he's in the dome against Indy. Everything looks good. I'm not saying those other guys aren't playable because they definitely are, but Josh Allen to me is clearly the pay up option. We don't have Lamar on the slate, so that does change some of the dynamics up top, and I kind of like that.
Yeah. Look, Josh Allen against Indy is just a fantastic spot. But Jalen Hurts against this Dallas like Philly's firing on all cylinders right now. You know, you look at Jalen Hurts in these 4 performances in the 4-game win streak since returning from that week 5 bye. He didn't need to do much against the Giants. Only attempted 14 passes, but it didn't matter. He has 6 rushing touchdowns over the last 3 games. He kind of does everything, right? And even if he's passing at a low clip, he's been wildly efficient lately. They have the weapons everywhere. And I think he's still a great play this week too.
Definitely. No doubt about it. You're splitting hairs. Again, we'll see what his situation is. Pairing with Josh Allen, Chad just brought this up, is no easy task in its own right. We'll see what that is. But to me, Allen's my guy up top.
Is Jaden Daniels number 3?
I mean, he is, but it's not worth talking about because I'm not playing him.
That's what I mean, though. I'm saying like a distant 3 for you in that tier. In that
Distant is the word rather than
Okay.
like top 3. Yeah.
All right. So mid-tier. This is fun as well. Kirk Cousins against New Orleans. I think you see a little dead cat bounce for the Saints here, by the way.
Can't get worse.
No, they're only 3-point dogs.
Yeah, I mean, when you're at home in division,
Exactly.
you're never a big dog. You shouldn't be, at least.
I put a small play on them at 3.5. Like
Yeah.
these are the games where people go, Atlanta's going to destroy them, and you know what? Maybe they do. But
Yeah, they
there's
do a
times,
lot, and then they lose
yeah, right.
sometimes.
But those times when they don't, which is like 50% of the time in this situation, um, people go, how did that happen? It's like, dude, there's a 3-point spread at home in a divisional spot after firing your head coach. What did you expect? You know? Or they just get routed.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I mean, that spread doesn't feel off to me at all.
me neither.
Yeah.
I think it moves uniformly to 3 across the board by the time that game starts. Mahomes had a really nice game yesterday. I'm not going to him against Denver. I still think Denver bounces back. I liked Baltimore a lot last week against the spread. I think Denver bounces back here. What do you want to say?
Just what kind of schedule is this? My God.
For
At
Denver?
Baltimore, at Kansas City? Nice.
I know. I was thinking that. Now,
Oh,
yeah, that's a crazy, crazy tough schedule. However, if you zoom out a little bit, you're like, oh, they had Carolina before that. They had the Saints in New Orleans, which could have been a much more difficult matchup. They had the Chargers, Raiders, Jets, Tampa. Yeah, but at Baltimore, at Kansas City is rough. I don't love Mahomes here, though. I think Purdy is very interesting, especially getting McCaffrey back, just more of a fine-tuned machine on offense, hopefully. But what about, and not going to bury the lead. Sam Darnold against Jacksonville is probably going to be popular. And it's not lost on me. But if that's the case, I might entertain Baker against San Francisco with how he's played.
he's been awesome. Obviously, his stacking weapons are very cheap right now, and that helps. He's chipping in with rushes. He's playing great. I do still worry about the Niners defense. We'll see what they can do as it gets healthier.
It's
and
hard
healthier.
to get to him, though, because Cade Otton's the only guy that you have any faith in, and now he's priced up.
That's what I mean. It's just not an easy. The theme of this week, just at a first glance for me, are great quarterbacks that make difficult stacks.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Minnesota just being the one here, though, where do you plug a relatively affordable Sam Darnold in with Justin Jefferson and TJ Hawkinson?
I feel like that's going to be the Geno-esque +2 of this week. It'll grade out very well. It'll be very popular.
Okay, so if that happens to be the case, I honestly may just pay $6,700, talking DraftKings for the sake of this show, for Aaron Jones.
That's a good leverage point, sure.
I bet him to have 700. I bet over on 700 rushing yards, right, for the season. I'll jinx this because he'll get hurt.
Most likely.
He's at 565 less than halfway through the season. I didn't understand that line at all outside of injury, which when you're betting those season-long futures, that's the case. I still didn't understand that at all, Ben, thinking that, like, what do we think? Ty Chandler's just going to get a ton of work? Here's why I mentioned this. You look at the last several games for Aaron Jones. Forget about the one against the Jets in London where he got hurt early. 22 carries, 14, but they played from behind against Detroit, 19 against the Rams, 21 against the Colts. So we saw what Barkley did last week, ran all over Jacksonville. If it ends up that Minnesota's just popular through the air and Aaron Jones isn't at all, maybe he just makes for an incredible pivot in that game.
Definitely. There's always utility of leveraging within the stack. Like, obviously, you could use Jones with Darnold too, but you could isolate it there. For me, mid-range quarterbacks is pretty simple. Darnold, I think, is the best play. Purdy, I think, is the best pivot. And that's about it. I'm not going to play Kyler. Yeah.
I'm not playing Kyler there.
No.
Nope. Not happening. Like Darnold's just the obvious one. So if we go by tiers, top tier for me, let's have some fun with this because you're going Allen. I would too, right? You're going Allen.
I'm going Allen. Yes.
I would too, but I Jalen Hurts is right up there with him. So I'll go Jalen Hurts. Did you want Sam Darnold here in that mid tier?
Well, you could take him. I'll take Purdy
Well,
then.
I was gonna say I would take Purdy too. I don't care. I'll take
Why don't
either.
we do the show like this today? We don't do this often. Why don't we do it where we just do a little snake draft? So like we can't take the same player.
I love it. All right.
All right.
So then you get to pick first. Like we'll just go.
Yeah.
You pick first by tier by tier by tier. We switch up. Okay.
Yeah.
The two-man snake draft.
Exactly. So I'm taking Josh Allen, and you took Hurts, and now it's your pick. Go ahead.
All right. I'm gonna go Brock Purdy. I think he's
Okay.
gonna be
Sweet.
I
I'll
think
take
he's gonna be
Darnold
lower
then.
on- What?
Yeah, I said sweet. I'll take Darnold.
Yeah, I think we would have been fine with having either of those, right?
100%.
All right. I was doing this last night and I'm going, my first thought was, I'm really intrigued to see what Ben thinks of this low tier because oftentimes you're willing to actually take some stabs on these guys. And I am too this week. I'm not even going to mention any of these guys. I'm talking sub 6K. I wrote 3 of them down, of which none of them really excite me, but one I think is wildly underpriced, just wildly underpriced.
So it's pretty simple for me, obviously. Trevor Lawrence at 54. I don't, again, he doesn't have to be good. He throws the ball 30 times a game. He somehow is scoring on the ground now. Maybe that's something, maybe that's nothing, but it's certainly helping because he had an awful game against Philly and he still got there easily. Justin Herbert's in an offense that doesn't want to utilize him, but he's too good to not be utilized. He's been outstanding, efficient, his price point, and he's at home against Tennessee. I worry about the game script. I'm not going to go to like Flacco. I don't see that. I guess you could make a case for Rodgers, but I don't really see that. Carr, I guess, would be the third.
Okay. So I thought about Rodgers and I'm like, man, if you play Rodgers, I think you have to you don't have to, but I think the double stack with Wilson and Adams has to be very much like you look at their target shares since Adams came over, those guys are dominating targets.
Yeah.
It's also expensive. Have you, I'm hoping you haven't yet, but have you looked at the prices of Wilson and Adams yet?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen them, and again, I don't have them off the top of my head, but I saw they were in like the 7K range, which is pricey.
They're both, I think 7 and 7 too. They're both 7K.
Yeah.
That's an expensive stack for a team whose offense hasn't really functioned all that well, which means that Rodgers to me gets bumped down a little bit because I think that stack is probably overpriced based on production, right?
I'm not in love with that double, no.
For me, and we'll snake it, you can go first, but if you don't take him, for me, it is definitely a $5,200 Justin Herbert. I mean, this Titans secondary is terrible. And you know what? Greg Roman and Jim Harbaugh, they've been willing to open it up a little bit. I think Herbert is finally over that foot injury. I think he's gelling more with the rookie lad McConkey. Quentin Johnston comes back and immediately produces again. Like
he's turning out to not be the bust that people thought.
Big time. It is okay. How cool is this? If you wanted to, Justin Herbert 5,200 is egregiously under, like, he should be 6K in this spot, 7.5 point favorites. Maybe they want to run the ball fine. But if you wanted to go Justin Herbert, Lad McConkey, and who else would you want, Ben? It'd probably have to be Johnston, right?
Yeah.
Quentin Johnston. And then I just went and threw in a cheap defense. I'll throw in Patriots since the Bears offense has sputtered lately. 6,300 per player remaining, and you've got a Herbert +2.
And you have a tight end spot, so it's going to go up more.
Good point. So
I get it.
I think it's a pretty nice spot.
I'm going Trevor Lawrence just because I'll just keep doing that. I really believe in that stack over and over.
Okay. And you're also getting a cheap stack there.
Super cheap.
If I threw, say, just Hawkinson in, then it's 6,700 remaining.
Yeah, that's almost best available territory.
So yeah, give me, and Jordan, are you writing these tiers down? Where were you? Have you been with us today? Uh,
But you do have them.
no, you haven't. What's going on, dude?
You rattled them. You rattled all of us. Anyway,
Herbert and Lawrence. No, you got him. That's perfect. That's perfect. We're good. All right. This is fun. A fun week of quarterbacks. I like it. Who's your favorite overall?
Josh Allen.
Far and away. All right.
I think Darnold probably be the cash quarterback if you play cash, just because the floor on his stack is going to be very high. But I just feel like Josh Allen has every way to succeed and then some here.
All right. I like it. Hey, by the way, you know what else I like? The fact that, and many of you guys have taken advantage of this already. Talk running backs here too. But you and I talk betting. Like I think whenever, because you and I talk throughout the day all the time, right? Like we work closely together. We're very lucky to work with people who we don't despise. But we talk betting all of the time, no matter the time of day, whatever. So I love having an opportunity like this to say, hey, not only can you guys jump in with that link, first one in the description, and Jordan can throw it in the chat as well. Not only can you jump in and get the core package for free for the entirety of the month and stack as many as you want by signing up at our partners on these sports books, but also the fact that like I'm hoping people just become more interested in sports betting as it continues to grow, because we're growing our content base and all of our tools around that. It's just like the perfect crossover. So you go over to that link, right? Follow the simple 4 steps and you'll see, Jordan can scroll down. You'll see the claim offer. All you have to do if you want to get a free month of all of our tools, I'm talking about the contest generator with the sims, the single lineup sim, the boom bust tool, top stacks, premium Discord, ownership, player project, everything, right? Everything. Post contest simulator, late swap. You want it for football, you want it for basketball, doesn't matter. Just straight building better lineups than you're ever going to build by hand. And I don't say that in a disparaging way. I say that in the sense like DFS is tough now. Having these tools at your disposal, even if you wanted to use your own knowledge and use the single lineup sim to get instant feedback and get the simmed ROI on that. So now you're catching up with the times, but you can still keep, remnants of your old process. Just click claim offer on any of those. Even if you're in a non-legal betting state, like pick a sleeper, underdog, vivid, rebet, or bet365 where you're getting $200 in bonus bets just for signing up, depositing 10 and betting 5. Oh, and their massive Thursday night football promo with 10 in bonus bets for every touchdown scored. Ben, all you got to do, choose one, click claim now, or choose as many as you want for as many months as you want. Sign up using that claim offer, deposit the minimum, place a bet, and take a screenshot of your welcome email, and then take a screenshot of your first settled bet. Send that to support@stokastic.com and let us know what leagues you want. It's that simple. Sounds like a nice little deal to me, man. Making better lineups and getting big bonuses over on the books.
Yeah, it's like I said, one of the my favorite things we've done, just because it applies to everybody. It gives you so many options. It's not, oh, this isn't in my state, I don't have this. You have literally a dozen plus options, and you get to use these tools to further the value that you're getting. So if you have any trouble, just email support, but we'll see you in there.
Can I also say too that I've seen a lot more people like hitting us up over on Discord, in the Tails Discord, or on Twitter, and even in chat talking about betting lately. So it's like, it's fun to see the crossover happening.
I mean, it's listen, realistically, like betting's just only going to continue to grow. And there's so many different ways to, betting is a giant term. You could talk about spreads, you could talk about pick 'em. There's a million different ways to get involved. And that's what I love. I love betting, obviously.
To me, the best part is that it's in DFS, you and I could be on similar players and have wildly differing results. With betting, like if we're all sweating the same game, we have the same results.
Yep. And it's us, like, technically, when you and me play DFS, we're playing against each other.
Correct. Yeah.
Now we're on the same side.
Yep. It's fun. It's fun. Come join the same side, baby. All right. running backs. Do we get to Barkley this week against Dallas? He's so good, but it's so tough to get to him every week. As good as he's been, you haven't really needed Barkley most of these weeks.
No, and that's been a product of, price point and just, last week he was extremely good. And that was, but you get that, you're in business. The guy that I don't know what to do with, you mentioned the team. Kamara had 29 carries and 9 targets last week. I mean, what is that?
What? I'm not surprised by it. Truly.
I can't remember. I honestly can't remember the last time I've seen a guy get 30
For
fantasy
sure,
points without scoring.
It's nuts, but they don't have anybody. They don't have anybody. Right? Like Jamal Williams was out. Kendrick Miller came back for a week or two. He's out. It's incredible. By the way, what I'm talking about too, for anybody wondering, when I say that, like, as good as Barkley's been, you haven't needed him. I'm looking at the power suite. All right. I think that's more indicative. Like, I prefer when I'm looking at the post contest simulator, I don't even care to look much at the millie. I like looking at the spy, the power suite, because I think I can glean more from that, Ben, right? Maybe you see it differently, but like the play action or something is a straight lotto ticket.
Oh, 100%. I mean, you're talking hundreds. At least my mind doesn't really grasp. It's like, oh, thousands of people. You know the difference between playing against 2,000 people and 200,000 people? Like, it's not the same, even though it feels the same.
So I love the 3 max power sweep, the spy, the red zone, the end zone, the goal, all those those are great. So I go in our post contest simulator where you can see all the simmed lineup ROI, the actual ROI, how everybody produced, how all of their lineups did. I use it for myself every single week. I want to see what I'm doing right and wrong. This is what last year turned Ben and me onto a strategy that really worked for us, which was concentrated offense, RB wide receiver, fade quarterback, and won us some good money last year. I'm looking at this. The first lineup with Saquon, it finished 4th. As good as he was, 36.5 fantasy points. Kamara, Chase Brown, and Austin Eckler, the way that those builds worked and the way that they produced, Kamara, Chase Brown, Eckler, number 2, and then in 3, Chase Brown, Eckler, and Devon Achane. So, like, even as good as he was, that price point was so prohibitive with the way that lineups were built that you didn't need Barkley to win or even to finish high up.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that you can't control if you're the most expensive running back, is what the cheap backs do. And when you get multiple super values that really perform, yes, Saquon beats them in raw points, but you're paying like an extra $2,500 for an extra 10 points. And that's really hard at times. Now, he's fantastic. For me, I'm more drawn to Kamara. I'm just going to assume that he can continue to get that type of work. And if he does in a competitive game at home, I just feel like he's in a really good spot.
Barkley's absolutely stellar, but
it's amazing.
I think I would lean Kamara here too. Now, here's the one caveat. What if it's Tuesday? So I like to throw these hypotheticals, and you know exactly where I see you nodding your head. You know where I'm going here, right?
I do.
Okay. Well, then answer the question before I ask it.
If we'll go ask the question first.
Oh, well, apparently you don't know where I'm going.
Well, hold on. I have a prediction in my head. I'll tell you if I'm right. Go ahead.
No, tell me what your prediction is.
Is it related to Kamara or Saquon? Let me ask that.
Both of them.
Okay, so I don't know what you're asking. I thought you were going to ask, what if Kamara's workload, is reduced?
Okay. No, what I was going to say is, what if Kamara is just wildly more popular than Barkley because of that workload?
So I think that's more, to me, that's always more related to the QTAC. I want to see what the hell's going on with that. I'm not worried about Saquon whatsoever, but I think people in general are like, oh, let me go to that guy. That would change things, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I really don't. We see that more with chalk pay down running backs than up top. Like, I can't remember the last time a super expensive running back was like, you have to go to the McCaffrey days, I feel like. Maybe I'm wrong, but I just...
No, you're right. But I st I still think it's possible that Alvin Kamara is just mega chalk this week.
Really? Okay. That would be surprising to me. You could be definitely right. Maybe that's something that would change things.
I mean, he's coming off a game. What did he have? 38 total looks.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you know what's even crazier? Barkley's on a better offense by far, and he had 31 total looks in that game. Like he had 27 rushing attempts and 4 targets. The guy racked up what? 200 total yards and 2 touchdowns. So, that's what I'm saying. I think ownership plays a role for me. If people see Kamara and just go, oh, you know what? There's no one else in this backfield. He's the guy, and he's the same price as Barkley. Like, what if Kamara is 20% and Barkley's 5%?
That's not going to happen, but yes, that would change my thinking.
Okay, I'm just look hypothetical.
100%. 100%.
Bijan.
Yeah, I'm fine. Bijan has just been in play for me for a month straight. Honestly, he's been in play for me the whole year, but for the last month, it's just been good. Price keeps coming up, and I don't love that because once again, last week I saw Tyler Algier standing in the end zone with the ball.
Yep.
But you give me my 25 touches, and I just move on with Bijan.
I'm gonna switch it up on you a little bit. Jonathan Taylor.
That'd be interesting to see how those lineups look.
Well, I'll tell you this much. The Buffalo Bills have really struggled to contain pass catching running backs. I talked about this with you a lot on Sunday. It's like, this is why I love Devon Achane. I laddered him up to 60 receiving yards. Guess how many he finished with?
60.
59. And he had 60, but they pulled one back, which was so tilting.
I mean, Waddle lost like 60 yards on the last play, so there was that. That was interesting.
Well, that's what I don't understand. They only gave Achane 1 yard on that, but he clearly went 2.5 yards before he threw it back.
I don't know how those plays work.
It's stupid though. Like neither do I, but it was clearly 2 yards before he threw it backwards. So you know what? Maybe it's like where it's caught at when you throw it backwards.
I don't know how that
You know what
works,
I
to be
mean?
completely honest. Yeah,
Me neither. Maybe it's where the player catches it,
it's possible.
right? Like that's what that would be. Either way, 59. Now 58. I'm seeing, but what just awesome performance from Achane against Buffalo. No team has allowed more receiving yards to opposing running backs than the Buffalo Bills this year. They have not. They are actually a run funnel defense, and it is Indy at home, in the dome. Taylor's going to play like 80+% of snaps in this game. I just think he's really interesting. What if he ends up being the lowest owned out of all these guys? I'll happily go there. I really will.
I think he might be. I just find it interesting that you're mentioning, and I'm not saying he can, but when I think of pass catching backs, I certainly don't think of Jonathan Taylor.
I think he's much better than we think, and I think they're going to start utilizing him more in that role with Joe Flacco out there.
That's the key.
Look,
that's the key.
Sorry?
That's the key. If Jonathan Taylor becomes a 3 to 5 target guy and not Derrick Henry, that changes what he can do.
I truly think he will be. I really do.
I mean, he's got the skills. It's not like he can't do it.
Right. No, he's a perfectly capable pass catching back. That doesn't concern me at all. It really doesn't. You look at the last 2 games, and let's see, how many routes did he run? Okay, he ran 41 routes in 2 games. I'm fine with that. I got that wrong. 41 routes. Yeah, sorry, in 2 games. And then last week against the Vikings, playing from behind, you got 17, but 5 targets. I just think you're going to see more of it. Trey Sermon was targeted once on 8 routes. Was Goodson targeted at all? I don't think he was. So, no, I think it's a sneaky spot for Taylor. It's a good matchup for running backs.
That could be a real good tournament play.
Yeah. Bills have allowed the second most fantasy points to opposing running backs, 31 DraftKings points per game to running backs. So yeah, just keep that in mind as we move throughout the week. Taylor might be the sneaky spot. kind of like James Cook was 2 weeks ago when our sub Rick took down the Millie.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So I'll go off the board a little bit here. I'll go Jonathan Taylor.
I'll go chalk with Kamara.
Okay. And that's fine. Like you could
Yeah.
go there's a lot of spots you could go here. Talk to me about the mid range.
So the mid range is interesting because I definitely think that the guys up top have a decisive advantage. You mentioned Herbert. I'm interested to see if Dobbins is lost or people look and they're just like, the Titans are so bad. The Chargers are just going to run it down their throat. I don't really see that, but I'm not super enamored with Tony Pollard on the other side. He did have 28 carries against New England. That was one of the dumber games I've ever seen. Aaron Jones. And then you start to get into the weird range, but again, some of these volumes are nuts. Kareem Hunt, 27 carries last night.
I know.
Like if you have 27 carries, even if you suck, you're probably going to be fine.
It was truly I tweeted this. It's the quietest 100-yard game I can remember.
That's what I mean. Same
like
with Tony
churning
Pollard.
out 4 or 5 yards a carry, nothing big.
I mean, both of them. So Kareem Hunt, 27 carries for 106 yards. His longest run was 15 yards. You know how hard that is to do?
That's what I mean. It was the quietest 100-yard game because he just grinded his way there. And Andy Reid is perfectly fine with it.
Yeah. Tony Pollard wasn't that dissimilar.
Yep.
Oh, I want to go back to Swift so badly.
I think you go back to Swift here. This is my guy. Swift, I think Swift in this range is my guy. How do you not go back to DeAndre Swift? First of all, Khalil Herbert's gone. Not that that matters much. They'll still work Roshan Johnson in a bit. But they lost by 20 points. That game was never competitive, and he still had 16 carries and 6 receptions. Like DeAndre Swift in a bad game. That's like a floor game for him right now. Finished with 14. Finished with 82 total yards and 22 touches, 6 receptions. I think $6,500 Swift is an outstanding play. I also think he will be chalk on this slate.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. He should be more expensive than J.K. Dobbins. He should be more expensive than Breece Hall. He should be more expensive than James Cook. How are you paying 76 for Breece Hall right now?
No, you're paying that because you're just like, this guy can break off 80-yard runs and he's not going to be popular.
But so can Swift at this point.
Yeah.
80-yard runs. Well, actually, he does have a 72-yard touchdown.
I mean, listen, you're not gonna hear me push back on DeAndre Swift. I'm a huge fan. I like the spot. I just worry about Chicago in general, but he's probably the exception to that.
I agree. I have 4 guys in this range, and I like all of them on varying levels for different reasons. We both like Swift, right?
Yeah,
we both think Aaron Jones can be a decent play as well.
Yep.
You mentioned Pollard. I think he's fine. I'm not in love with him this week. I almost hope Tajay Spears is back. Last one. What about James Conner against the Jets defense that has become a clear run funnel? Like one of the biggest run funnel defenses in the league.
Yeah, I mean, James Conner has quietly had an awesome year. His price is reasonable. I don't really like attacking the Jets defense. If you're gonna attack them, it's clear that's the way to do it, but I still don't really want to do that. I think and kind of hope that opportunity costs get the best of him, but I see what you're doing. I think I'd just rather have Kareem Hunt.
That's fair. I just look at these games. Like Ray Allen had a huge Ray Davis.
Did he?
Ray Davis had a huge game against them. Najee Harris went for 100. Joe Mixon went for 100 almost in the first half against them. Like that run defense is a problem, dude. It's a problem. So we'll see how it plays out. But I wanted to throw James Conner in there as well. Who's your guy here?
Well, do I pick first here?
Oh, did you go? I don't know. I went first last one.
Oh, I'm taking Swift then.
Yep, fair enough. I'll go
Aaron Jones. Be safe.
I think I'm going to go Aaron Jones. I got it. That's the brand, right?
Yeah, you gotta. What about Ramondre Stevenson? I don't really see it, to be honest. He had a couple touchdowns last week, but there's too many other backs for me.
I don't see it. Chicago is a run funnel defense for sure. But Ramondre, I mean, the guy, if you look at his efficiency, it's really bad. Like 10 for 16 last week on the ground, 2 touchdowns bailed him out. 2 touchdowns the week before bailed him out. He had 20 for 48 on the ground. Jacksonville 7 for 18. Like they can't get him going. It's just he finds the end zone. I'm out. He should be, if he was like 5,700, you'd probably get me there. I hate the bottom sub 6K range. Do you have anybody down here?
No, I mean, again, this is like the number one thing for me of, when Chase Brown opened up and like these guys, they more often than not are a product of news. So like Eckler, if it's the same situation, right?
That's the only one I have right now. It's Eckler with an asterisk next to it.
I don't want any of those guys.
Just put Eckler in there for both of us, Jordan, with an asterisk, because there's really nobody down there.
There's no reason to pay down at running back unless value opens up.
No, and the 6K range just has too much good stuff. Too much good stuff. So why pay down? Let's talk wide receivers here. All right. Let's see. Did we get over 100 likes? This is usually the ride or die crew here. Let's see. 96. Not bad. Got 400.
Not bad at all.
And hey, guys, we talked a lot about betting. Just for any of you that might be interested, Ben and I have something going where like we wanted to make it just super accessible for anybody. And I mean this, like you can look at the prices. We made it affordable intentionally because that's not something that you and I would always do, is go in and have a Discord with picks and sweating bets with everybody. It was kind of like, all right, well, if we're going to do it, let's just make it so everybody can get in. If you wanted to join us, promo code BOGO over on Tails, where it's on the Odd Shopper app. That's our betting side. Download the app, get all the notifications on the bets straight to your phone, but also in the premium Discord, all of our channels in the chat and the picks in there. We've had great seasons thus far. Ben hit the old round robin on Sunday. Love it. 3 touchdown round robin. I got the Kelsey 100+ yesterday, which was huge. I needed that. But if you ever wanted to join us, that link down there, if you just click on either Ben or mine, the insider package, click that and sign up. When you check out, use the promo code BOGO, BOGO, and you get both buy one, get one free. So if you were to sign up on Ben's, then you get my entire package over there, all of the picks in the community, 100% free. You sign up on mine, Ben's is 100% free. So I just always encourage people to jump in because we want to build a community and we've had an incredible time sweating bets. So if you like hanging out here with us in DFS, but you want to take it to the betting streets as well, no better place to find us, brother.
100%. Again, there's just so much going on right now in the sports world. If nothing else, I just love being able to hop in with people that are rooting for the same things I'm rooting for, asking the same questions that I'm asking, talking through things that maybe I didn't see. Kind of just like, it honestly reminds me a little of this show, like with chat, where it's just like, we're all just kind of like hanging out, talking, finalizing some plays, and then we get to root it on. So if you are interested, we'll see you in there. Yeah, it's just a good time of the year with that.
Damn right, man. College basketball starting. I'll be tailing you there.
You missed last night, baby. Whew, good start. Real good start.
It's probably good. Anytime I tail you, it doesn't end well. Like
I'm not exaggerating. Every time I give you a play, particularly not when you just tail on your own, but if I send you a play, it's got to be like, I don't know, 2 for my last 15.
Maybe 2, but it's also wild ways that they lose.
No, it's insane. It's like, okay, over 2.5 in a soccer game. It's 3-0 in the first half, but it ends 2-0. Like they take a goal and then they don't score again.
It's nuts.
It's seriously insane.
I know. Upper tier of wide receiver. So Jefferson against Jacksonville. CeeDee Lamb. I don't care if it's Cooper Rush or if it's Trey Lance. That's a very expensive price point. He's dealing with an AC and joint injury. AJ Brown, if he plays, could be a great spot. Devonta Smith, Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams. Like, I'll just tell you out of the gate, since I get to go first here, It's Justin Jefferson for me. It's an absolute smash spot. The only drawback is that at that price, you actually need a really big game.
You do, but it's Justin Jefferson. No doubt about it. I'm all about that. I'm gonna go again. There's a million caveats here. I'll go to Garrett Wilson though. It just seems like he's still, I know that Devontae Adams also had 11 targets and got banged up and looked good, but Wilson is just fantastic, and they can utilize him in a lot of different ways. He's 7,200. I don't think he'll be crazy popular. I hope not. But yeah, I'll go Garrett Wilson.
I don't mind it at all. He's amazing. And I actually think that having Devontae Adams there isn't really bad for Wilson. Those guys might just combine for a 65% target share for the rest of the season.
Yeah, that's something that, when there's volume, it's actually better because they can't take, they're not like, oh, we're going to bracket Garrett Wilson. That's just not going to happen.
And Lazard's on the IR.
Yeah.
So there's nobody else to trust. And Rodgers is big on the trust factor, but how at this point can you not trust Garrett Wilson just as much as Devontae Adams?
You should trust him more, honestly.
He should. Did you see he said he was like, just get open on that one. And
he's great.
And he made the most after something like that, there's just absolutely no way you don't love those guys. So I'm still I'm going back and forth on the Devontae Garrett Wilson stack with Rodgers. Maybe I'll sprinkle it. And you have that outburst, but I get the Garrett Wilson play. Would you play Devonta Smith if AJ Brown is out at his price point? Because he's very expensive.
Absolutely.
You would almost 8K.
I would. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
It's only obviously if AJ Brown is out.
For sure.
But yes, I would.
Okay. If AJ Brown is in, would you play AJ Brown?
Yes, for sure.
Got it. But not Devonta. You can't pay for Devonta.
Definitely not.
Okay. For what it's worth, I'm with you, but I just wanted to make sure we were on the same page there. And then on FanDuel, you look at the prices. AJ Brown is $8,900. Devonta's $85,000. So they preemptively priced him up too. Expensive stuff, but Devonta's as good as it gets, man. Mid-tier, and I know we're up against it a little bit here, but if I asked you right now, how many teams could Devonta be the number one on? Off the top of your head, what would you say?
Devonta Smith?
Yeah.
15.
Okay. That's what I was going to say. Somewhere around like half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's better utilized not as an alpha, personally.
Totally. But he can actually operate as an alpha, and we've seen that with Brown out. So that's the
100%.
good. Mid-tier. I don't love the mid-tier this week. I really don't. It might be Mooney if Drake London sits with that hit pointer. What a resurgence from Darnell Mooney, man. He's been awesome.
You were on that. Atlanta's been awesome. There's a lot of mouths to feed, but he's still getting his.
So who is it though? In the mid, like, is it a George Pickens day against Washington?
I do think you could do that.
Expensive.
I'm going for it. I'm taking Brian Thomas.
All right, so you're all in on this Jacksonville.
I mean, I'm all in the sense that if you're going to do it, you need to go for it. And Brian Thomas is someone that targets at times can be a problem. Home run upside is not a problem. If he's good to go and Jacksonville moves the ball at all, that's where I want to go. He's not going to be popular because I think he's a little overpriced. I kind of like that with a player like him. Big boom bust type play. Brian Thomas has a good GPP tournament stab.
Yeah, all right. Well, we know he's very good, and we know there's no Christian Kirk. So
Yeah,
you know what? I'm fine with it, Ben. I'm fine. Oh, give me Pickens, 6,800. I think
that's more than reasonable. I almost said him.
I'm a huge fan of George. Like, I just think George Pickens is one of the best receivers out there that doesn't get the love he deserves.
He's another one. Like, I know we're up against it, but like, he could be the number one on more teams than Devontae.
Probably, yeah. With his size and his catch radius.
Yeah.
By the way, we're not really up against it. Like, we're hitting low tier of wide receivers. We're fine.
No,
but yes, Pickens, Like Pickens with, let's say Pickens even with Kirk Cousins, like Drake London role. Is he a 1,200 yard receiver? I think it's just absolutely yes, without question.
I would agree.
I don't love the mid tier though. I think the mid tier is where I have the least interest right now.
I mean, again, that's why I think it's prime for tournament throw.
For sure. All right. How about we go down to this low tier? This is fun. Like if Drake London sits, you have to consider Ray McLeod. You might be interested in Parker Washington for Trevor Lawrence snacks. Do you know Nick Westbrook-Akina has scored in 4 straight games?
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
No, and I'm not doing that this week. I just wanted to tell you that.
Yeah, please don't do that.
Okay. Can I rapid fire a few of these cheap guys to you and get your thoughts? All right, Ladd McConkey.
Ladd McConkey, where is he?
59.
Home
against Tennessee, 7.5 point favorite.
Yeah, I'd say no.
Calvin Ridley, same game, 5,700.
Yeah, more interested in Ridley than Ladd. Yeah.
Okay, I'm a yes on both, but more interested in Ridley than Ladd. DeAndre Hopkins against Denver, though.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Ownership, I'm gonna punt.
Okay, so that's a no.
It's a no it's a yes pending ownership, not a no pending ownership. I like him, but I think he might be really popular coming off an island game where he caught, he looked fantastic.
I agree. Also, if he gets a lot of Patrick Surtain treatment, that'd be an easier fade for me. Because Mahomes still is going to spread the ball around. Quentin Johnston, 4,900.
Yeah, more interested in him than Ladd.
I'll put it to you this way. I like these guys as stack pieces because Herbert's so cheap.
I get that. I definitely get that.
Cedric Wilson, 4,600.
I mean, I don't really want to mess around. There's so many random guys for New Orleans. Like you could say Mason Tipton for the same price, basically.
You know what? You're right. And that's why that's why I wanted to ask you this one because because we're both assuming that Olave's out, right?
Oh yeah. That was bad.
Is there anybody that we can try and find for the Saints though?
No.
Wow.
They have Taysom Hill and they've got Kamara.
That's just sad.
Yeah, it's sad.
Like even Bub Means is on the IR. I'd probably give Cedric Wilson some consideration, but it's gross. All right, and then last one. McLeod, if London sits, just has to be a yes. But Parker Washington, 3,900.
Definitely a yes. I'll throw in Van Jefferson. He's on my list here.
Okay. Who would be your favorite cheap one?
I think DeAndre Hopkins all in all is the best of the cheapies because he just is. I'm not putting 2 Jacksonville people on the list. People are going to think I'm insane.
You are a little bit. All right. So who are you going?
I'll go with DeAndre Hopkins.
All right. You know what? If Mason Rudolph's still starting, I'm going to go Ridley.
That's who I was going to say, yeah.
You're finally seeing them figure out ways to use him. I don't care if they lose these football games or not. You look at the last 4 games, 8, 9, 15, and 8 targets. The last 2, though, like he caught 3 of 17 with Indy and Buffalo. The last 2 games, he's caught 15 of 23 for 213 yards or something more than that. 230, whatever it is. The ceiling is there for Ridley, so I actually like him in this spot.
No argument there.
Let's wrap it up with tight ends. Kelsey, Kittle, Otten, Evan Ingram at the top. 53 and up.
Yeah, probably Ingram for me at 10 targets last week. I just like all those attachments. Kelsey had 16 targets last night. He's got 28 targets in the last 2. I mean, that's hard to ignore.
I think it's Kelsey.
Yeah.
Like they're just I bet all of this guy's overs yesterday. Like I said, I laddered him up to a hundo. Overtime helped out, but sometimes you need a little bit of help, right? I should have
Always.
laddered his reception prop, but there's only one or two books that allow that. 14 receptions. And by the way, one of those should have been 15 that got punched out. Should have been 14 on 6. That is, it is insane looking at that he only had 26 fantasy points.
Yeah, it is insane.
But he's got 24 receptions over the last 2 weeks on 28. How do you not like? How do you? It's just Travis Kelsey in this spot. Plus, they probably look to use him when you've got some very good corners on that Denver team. So give me Mahal or Travis Kelsey at 6K. You're going Ingram.
Yep.
Will you pay for Otten here?
I don't want to say flat no, but more likely no.
I think I'm with you. Yeah, I think I'm with you. Also, yeah, we should pay attention to some injuries for that San Francisco team. Can I backpedal real quick just to ask you a question? With Ayuk done for the year, like should we, because it was week 7 he went down, and then week 8, who did they play in week 8? Was that the Kansas City game before the bye? No, that was Dallas. Sorry. That was Dallas. Should we be looking at Kittle and saying, you know what? Maybe he's just that much more viable against the Tampa Bay team that everyone talks about Kansas City. Tampa can't stop opposing tight ends at all. Maybe Kittle's the guy.
I mean, Kittle it's mostly going to be reserved for probably like if I play Purdy, yeah, Kittle will be involved, and I'm fine with the price point. So yeah, Kittle's in play. I just prefer probably Kelsey or certainly Ingram paying down.
All right, I'll go Kittle then. If you're going, do you want to go
Yeah.
Kelsey here?
No, I'm going Ingram. I
Okay,
don't
I'm
care.
going to go Kittle. Kelsey's a great play, but give me George Kittle in this spot. Mid-range TJ Hawkinson. I think they're going to work him back pretty quick in this game.
Like Hawkinson a lot. I'm gonna go Taysom Hill.
Ooh, I like it. 4K
It's
flat.
just it's Taysom Hill. I hate playing him, but you know what? He just does what he does, and if he gets a couple goal line chances and he converts one, I don't think. Yeah, there you go. Taysom Hill is a gadget player that has shown many times he can get there at this price point.
Okay, I like it. Kincaid's viable, but what a disappointing season. I think
Yeah, I mean Buffalo.
Pitts is fine too, don't you think? Like they're actually using the guy.
Yeah, but Pitts' floor is horrendous because there's so many weapons.
Like last week.
Like last week, yeah, that's fair.
Yep. I mean, you literally had 4 straight pretty decent games from him, and then just nothing. So I'm with you. I don't really want to pay the premium there. If Pitts was 3,900, you and I would be singing a different tune for sure. I have nobody at the low tier. Grant Calcaterra, maybe if Goddard sits. Is there anybody here that's viable? Sub 4K, obviously.
I'll go Hunter Henry. I don't really want to do that, but
Not bad.
He's a part of that offense. The guy's got 23 targets in the last 3 weeks. He's fine.
It's really not. That's probably where you'd have to go because I'm not sure where your alternatives are.
There's just not that much down there.
There's nothing. And I'm looking, but there's nothing.
No.
I'll go with you here actually because there's nothing else. We'll both go Hunter Henry.
Okay.
One defense under 3K. I'll give you one. I'll go first. Ready? $2,500 Patriots against the Bears.
All right, let's think about this. $2,500 Patriots against the Bears.
I think that's the obvious spot, but I have 2 others just in case.
Oh yeah, I'll go Arizona at home against the Jets.
Okay. I think you could go Jets on the road against Arizona too.
Definitely could do that. And then I definitely think you could go Saints.
I like that. What about Broncos?
No, I don't. That's too much oil.
All right. I love it. Hey, you guys are the best. Thanks for hanging out on a Tuesday morning. Hopefully we made it a little bit less painful, a little more painless, whatever you're doing. I know a lot of you guys watch or listen while you're at work, so we appreciate you taking the time. Hope to ease the stress off the day. Anyway, maybe we'll see you over there in Tails. Maybe we'll see you in the Stokastic Discord with signing up at any of their sports books. Maybe we'll see you at both. Links in the description for all of those if you want to join. And you should follow Ben at JazzRazBets over on Twitter, me at Laffy_D. Right under our names, you'll see the handles. Shout out to Jordan Klein for producing this one. And we'll catch you back here next week, week 11. Until then, tons of stuff coming up on the channel throughout the week. Later, guys.